Okay, so welcome back. We're going to be looking at adding fractions, but unfortunately we have to put some algebra in it. Okay, so these are the sort of questions that we're going to get up to today. We're going to do x plus 2 over x plus 3 type questions, and even ones where you've got the numerator being a little bit more complicated. So don't worry about copying that down. So from the last lesson on fractions, we know that we must have the same denominator when we're adding. Okay, so when we're adding, and we're going to be subtracting soon as well, we must have the same denominator. Okay, so that's what we learned from the last lesson. So for instance, when we had numbers 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 2/3, and etc. We did some questions like that. So if we have fractions with pronumerals, we do exactly the same thing. So we look at this sort of question here, the first one. The denominators are both 3, so the denominator is going to have a 3, and then we just go x plus x is 2x. So if you have a third of an x plus a third of an x, you have 2. If you have a third of an x plus a third of an x, you have 2/3 of an x. We can add the numerators when we have the same denominator. We can add the numerators when we have the same denominator. Okay, so copy that down and come to the next slide when you're ready. So again, let's have a look at sums. Okay, so denominator is the same, so the denominator is 3. And then to get the top, the numerator, we just add like terms. So x plus 2x is 3x, okay? And then plus 1 plus 7 equals plus 8. So the answer is 3x plus 8 over 3. Again, with the second one, 5, 5, so the denominator is 5, and then we just add like terms. So 2x plus x is 3x, and then to get the second number, minus 1 plus 3, so you're up and down the thermometer, so minus 1's below 0, and then you add 3 and you end up at plus 2. So the answer is 3x plus 2 over 5. So when we have the same denominator, there's not an issue. We can just add and later subtract the numerators. Okay, so copy that down and then come across to the next slide. Okay, so now we have to look at different denominators. So when we had a question like this in the last video, we found out that the lowest common denominator was 6. And what we do is we circle. Okay, so 2 and 3 are different numbers, so that means we need both of them. Okay, 2 and 3 are different numbers, so we need both those numbers in the denominator. And then the 2 is missing the 3, so with the 1 we times that by 3, and the 3 is missing the 2, so we times that number by 2. So then both denominators will both have a 6, but we have to change the numerators. So we've got 1 times 3, the plus sign comes down, and then we've got 1 times 2, so we get 3 plus 2. So again, if you just chuck it on your calculator, a half plus a third equals 5, 6. We can do that with numbers, but we need to have steps for algebra because we can't put algebra on our calculator. Okay, so copy that down if you need to, but that was just straightforward. Okay, so what we do is we're now looking at the meat of the question. Okay, so we've got x plus 1 over 2 plus 2x minus 3 over 3. Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, 2 and 3 are different numbers, and there's nothing in common, so that means we need both of those numbers in the denominator, i.e. the denominator is going to be a 6. If you don't like this method, just write out 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, ... and then 3, 6, 9, 12, and what we're looking for is the first number that appears in both. So there's the first number that appears in both, and so that's why the denominator, the lowest common denominator, is 6. So if you don't like this other method, just write out the multiples until you get one number repeat. Okay, so this 2 is going to change to a 2 by 3. So that means that that number has to be multiplied by 3. And this 3 is changing to 2 by 3, which means that that number is multiplied by 2. Okay, and that means you're putting both numbers on top of a 6, and then we just do expand out, and then once you've got that, then you're just looking at like terms. So 3x plus 4x is 7x, and plus 3 minus 6, just going up and down the thermometer, is minus 3. So the final answer is 7x minus 3. So you need to copy that down, and then when you're ready, come to the next slide. So I want you to try this one for yourself. I want you to pause. I've got the same denominator, so it's not going to be as hard as maybe later on, but can you ever go that, and when you're ready, come back live. Okay, so the lowest common denominator is a 6. We've still got the same numbers, so 3 and 2, but this time the 3 is changing to a 6, so that means we need to double that number on top. And I don't have to put the times sign all the time. The plus sign comes down, and this 2 is being tripled to get to 6, so we need to triple the top. And then we've got 2x take 10 plus 3x plus 12 over 6. 2x plus 3x is 5x minus 10 plus 12. So minus 10 is way down below 0, and then you add 12, and when you add 12 it comes back to 6. Now please note, and even though 2 and 6 have something in common, we can't simplify that number, because that 6 is not only going into 2, it's going into 5, so it can't go into as part of the number. So the final answer is 5x plus 2 over 6. Copy that down. Oh no, that was one you did yourself, so copy down if you weren't sure, and come to the next slide. Okay, so slightly harder. Instead of having 2s and 3s, I've got 4s and 6s. So the question, somehow you have to answer, what's the lowest common denominator? So in my method that I showed, I write out the factors of 4, and I write out the factors of 6, and then I circle anything that's common, and that number comes down, and then anything else is also part of the denominator. So there's still a 2, so I need a 2, and there's still a 3, so I need a 3. So 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 3 is 12, so the lowest common denominator is 12. The other way of doing it is 4, 8, 12, 6, 12, and then 12 is the lowest common denominator. Okay, so 4 is coming up to 12, so that means that that number is being tripled. Plus sign comes down. 6 is coming up to 12, so that means that the top number has to be doubled. 2 6s is 12, so we have to double. So 3x plus 3 plus 2x plus 4 over 12, and then 2x's plus 3x's is 5x, 3 plus 4 is 7 over 12. So there's nothing more we can do. Okay, so copy that down and then come across. I think the next one is one for yourself. So try this one for yourself. I've got bigger numbers, 6 and 8, so pause the tape and then we'll have a go. Okay, so 6 is 3 times 2, 8 is 4 times 2, so we circle the 2's, so 2 is part of the denominator, and then we have every other number, so we need a 3 and we need a 4, so 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 4 is 24, so the lowest common denominator is 24, otherwise you go 6, 12, 18, 24, 8, 16, 24, and there's the 24 being the first number. Okay, so 6 is being changed to 24, so that means we have to multiply the top by 4, because 4 6 is 24. 8 is being changed to 24, so we need to triple, so triple the top, and then we've got 4x plus 12 plus 6x take 9 over 12. 4x plus 6x is 10x. 12 minus 9 is 3 over 12. And again, you can't You can't simplify 3 and 12 to make them lower. That's the answer, because 12 has to go into both 10x and 3, not just part of it. Okay. And these ones here are the exercise, and these are ones that just got plus signs, so we're not doing subtraction, so these ones hopefully be okay. Thanks for that. Bye.